Hello, welcome to Natural Piano Music Lessons. I am so excited and grateful that you have chosen me to be able to take you on your piano journey. Just a note before we go ahead and get started, I don't want to waste a lot of your time, but I do want to get this across to you. First off, I want you to know my goal in mind. My goal is that you play in a hurry. There's so many people that take traditional lessons or piano lessons or any type of piano lessons, and they think, well, maybe if I can play in 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. I've had students that have started playing the piano 6 years before they got to me, and they can play a few pieces and they still can't just play for their friends or play in church, and they're just wanting to be able to play. Listen, I am here to cut through all of that and fast track you to be able to play in a hurry. But first of all, you got to get through this first lesson. I am going to be throwing a whole bunch of information at you, but I want you to please do not pass this first lesson without understanding all of it. This is a lot of information, and it may take you a day, it may take you an hour. You may already know it and you need to refresh on it. It may take you a month, it may take you 3 months. But get past this first lesson, and I promise you, you're going to be playing songs in a hurry. We are not going to be just doing just small little things in hopes that you can play here in 5 years. We're literally talking about having you playing in 2 or 3 months full songs, and it sounding like something, you being able to play for somebody to sing or accompany, or if people just want to get around the piano, if you put the time into it. I am real big on muscle memory. And what that is you play something for a long time until your brain just can't handle it anymore, and then you sleep on it. The next day it gets a little better, and it gets a little better, and it gets a little better at a time, and that is so important. So listen, if you learn these terms at the beginning and don't pass this first lesson until you've got it all down, we are going to get you playing in a hurry. And I am excited that you are here. I'm excited to be doing this. I can't wait to see what you can accomplish. So let's go ahead and get started on our very first lesson. Hello, welcome to Natural Music Lessons. We are going to get started here with lesson number 1 of this beginner series. And first things first, I am going to be, as I said in the intro, throwing a lot of information. So that is why we have this on video. So you could go over it and over it and over it again. I have found it's best, even with my students that I do things in person with, that the video, be there for them. And we video even sometimes what we already have done in our lessons. Because that way they can recall, and that's such a powerful tool. So first things first, what you need to know about the piano is you need to be able to tell me what the notes are on the piano. And to do that, you need a starting point. And so we are going to start right here with this note. Now this note is a C note, and we call this middle C because it's a C note and it's in the middle of the keyboard. Funny how that works, huh? Okay, so how we can locate this is like this. You can see how there's 3 black notes, 2 black notes, 3 black notes, 2 black notes, 3 black notes. But when there's these 3 black notes right here in the center, in the lower center, you can go right up here to this white note, right there, and that's a C. So when you see those 2 black notes, 3 black notes, you know that this note is a C also. And this just keeps reoccurring, so you get 2 black notes, 3 black notes, and there's a C. Now, it's real easy to get those confused right here because it looks similar. This is an F note, and we'll get into naming that here in a second. But you need to know this. The 2 black notes, and then you skip up here, is an F. That is not a C. So it's got to be the 3 black notes, and then here's a C. And we call this middle C. So it is so important for you to be able to name these notes. And this is going to help you just dramatically. So here we go. First off, we have a C right here, and so naturally, as the alphabet goes, it goes C, and then the next white note is D, the next white note is E, the next white note is F, and then G, and then A, and then B, and then we know C starts again, because remember we have the 3 black notes, and so C, and then it goes D, E, F, G, and then A, B, C. That's how they go. So all the way up. So here's an A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it starts over again, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But it's real good to start with the C. That's a pretty popular key for piano, and that's the first note most people that start to play the piano learn. So you can know C, D, E, F, G, and then start A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and on. And know, here's the 3 black notes, and then there's C, there's the 2, there's F, so that way you don't get those confused. This is important. You need to stop and memorize these. This could take some time. You may have a great memory. When I first started, it took me some time. I was not the best beginner. A lot of people see me play now and think, oh yeah, you're just saying that. I'm not saying that. I was not a great beginner. So this goes to prove, listen, you can do this with some time and some effort. The more effort you put it into and the more practice. So I want you to be able to just go C, D, E, F, G, and name all those white notes. Now, in between all those white notes, so learn all those all the way up. That's pretty easy. In between all those white notes are these black notes. Other than right in between B and C and E and F. You see there's no black note in there, and that's how we can identify where they're at. But here's what we're going to do. We are going to identify these black notes first as flats. Now, I want you to think of a flat tire. So when a tire goes flat, it goes down. So here's a D, and if we were to go down just a little bitty note there to this black note, that is a D flat. So this is not a C flat, by the way. It's got to be a black note. So if this is an E, you go down to its black note, it is a E flat. You get it? The flat tire goes down. So G, G flat, A flat, B flat, and then it starts over. You know, again, D flat, E flat. Now, for certain keys, you call them flats, and for certain keys, you call them sharps sometime. Now, sharp is we're going up. You can think about something pointing up, something pointy, something sharp. And so where this was a D flat, in certain keys, it could be called a sharp, and we'll get into that in later lessons on why they're called that. We won't address that right now, but I want you to be able to get this. So if this is a C, and then you go up a note instead of down, this is now a C sharp. So it's a D flat and a C sharp, and it depends on which key, but I need you to be able to identify both of them. Same way with this, if this is a D, now this is a D sharp, whereas it's an E flat also. It can be called either one of those, just depending on the key. F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, and again, C sharp, D sharp. It is super important for you to be able to do this, be able to name all the notes. I want you to be able to go through at any point in time, and I say, tell me this note in a flat. That's an A flat. That's an A flat. That's an A flat. And know that. So now that we've identified the notes, and you need to work on that and work on that. I mean, that is so important. We need to talk about number 2. And this is a lot of information, I know, but if you get this, we're going to start playing in a hurry. I promise it'll be worth your time. Hang in there with me. Number 2, what I want you to know is what a step is and what a half step is. Now, notice how all these are just notes after note. So here, 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 here. It doesn't matter if it's a black note or if it's a white note. They're lined up within each other. This one is by here, this one is by here, this E is by this F. Every note that you go up or down, whatever it's by, I told you to move a half step up or down from a C, if I said down, it's just one note. That's a half step. Now, if I told you to move up a half step, you gotta go up to this black note. That's a half step. And that's what a half step is. A full step is 2 half steps. So from C, a full step up would be, so there's 2 notes, a D. A full step down would be a B flat or an A sharp. I know there's a lot of information, but hang in there with me. Now, you need to know it's going to confuse you sometimes when you first start. There's no black note in between these. So these half steps down it's just one note no matter what. If you were on a B and you had to go a full step up, you got to go 2 up. So it's a C sharp or a D flat, whatever that needs to be called. So if I said play 1 full step up from a B, it's right there. If I said to play another full step up from this C sharp, it's going to be a D sharp. And a full step up from this D sharp or an E flat, whatever you want to call it, is going to be an F. So you see the difference? Each note going up or down is a half step. And you go 2 half steps is a full step. So that is super important that you can do that. Number 3, I need you to be able to play what's called major scales. This is important to everything that I do even right now. Know your major scales. So the C major scale is pretty easy. So we're going to start there. So it's like this. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All white notes. Very easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then it starts over again on the next C. We started on C. We play 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the major scale in C. Starts over. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and so on. And so that's a very easy one. That's all the major scale of C. Just all the white notes. I mean, you can just hit whatever you want. It's right there. Now, the next thing to know about that is why that's a scale. Or how to recognize that's a scale. And it's pretty easy because it's all white notes. But what if I told you to play, that's the C major scale. What if I told you to play an F major scale? You're going to be real tempted to just play F to F. And like we played C to C. Well, that is not correct. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how to do this. And it'd be good to recognize this. We'll try to recognize this in 3 different keys. And so that way you can apply it to something we call chords here in a little bit that I'll tell you about. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So basically, how to do that, we start, if we're playing a C scale, we're going to start on a C. And we're going to call that the 1. We're going to go a full step and a full step. So that's pretty easy. And then a half step, and then another full step, and then another full step, then another full step. And then it starts over on this next half step. So if I were to ask you to play a D major scale, we'll say, and we'll go over some other ones in just a second, you got to start on a D. Now on C, you had to go full step, full step. So you're going to go start on a D, you're going to go full step. Oh, you're going to be tempted to go to this F. Don't do it, because a full step from this is this F sharp right here. It's not this F. And then, so you went, okay, so C is a full step and a full step, and then here's a half step. So I got to go from D, full step, oh, a half step. We're back to white notes. You see how this is translating? You can take the C one because it's easy to understand. It's all straight to white notes. And you can analyze it and apply it to any other key starting with that note. So you're going, so it's full step, half step, full step, full step, full step. Okay, so you got to make sure you get that half step in there. So from D, you would go full step, half step, full step, oh, another full step, and then you start up a half step again. And then do a full step from there, full step, another half step. So you do a couple full steps, then you do a half step, and then you do 3 full steps, and then a half step will start it over, and then you start over on the key you're in. So if I were to do something way harder, like we'll say E flat here, and this one's really got a bunch, you gotta say, well, I need 2 full steps to start this out. I'm going to F. Oh, that's a full step from there. Now another full step from there is going to be G, but a half step from there goes back up to black notes. A flat, a full step, stays on the black note. Now we're going back to white note. C, full step. Oh man, and another full step. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So you would have E flat. So this is how it is. Here, 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 and it starts back over. So from E flat, full step, half step, full step, full step, full step, start back over on the next half step. Obviously, you started on E flat, start back over. So it's 2 full steps, a half step, 3 full steps. So that is super important. So we know C, that's really easy. Let's do F and G, because we're going to use those here in just a little bit. So we're going to start on F. So we're going to go full step, half step, full step, full step, full step, and then it starts over again. That's the F scale. Now in G, so we're going to go full step, half step, full step, full step, full step, starts over again on the next half step on G again. So those 3 scales we're going to look at, and you can do that from any of these. A flat, you know, just start full step, half step, full step, full step, full step. You got to remember that. Work on your scales. Please do that. That is so important what we do, and this is a lot of info, but let's get through it. Now, there will be some terms that come up, and this is one of them. It's called an octave. Now, as I told you, here's a C, here's a C, here's a C, here's a C. Be able to do all those. And stop this until you have these before you go on to the next step. So, here's a C, and here's a C. When you play those like that, that's an octave. If I were to play it down here, C and C, that's an octave. So you can see. You can see. Clever, huh? C. So if you play 2 Ds, these are octaves. So when I say play an octave in your right hand, if you can reach it, and I'm doing some bad form, please don't do this. Don't press down like this. I'm just doing it so you can see it. C and C. Or if I said, I want you to play C, D, E, and F in an octave, you'd go C, D, E, F, or with both hands. So you can see what an octave is. A flat to A flat, B flat to B flat, B flat. So the same note, that's close by each other here. Those are octaves. Now, next thing to know is chords. What are they? How do I build them? We're going to start out with major chords, and we're going to start out in the easy key. We're going to start out in C. Now we're starting to get somewhere. So remember your scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, a major chord, a straight up, what we call a triad major chord, because there's 3 notes in this, is going to be the 1, the 3, and the 5 of the C scale. So if you were to label these, starting with the name of the scale with numbers, and that's important to know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Start over again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 1, the 3, and the 5 would be C. It would be E. And then the 5 would be G. So 1, 3, 5. You can see how that works. So that's a C chord. Once again, please don't do your chord like I'm doing. I'm tucking my fingers back so you can see what I'm playing. That is important, especially when you're beginning. You're creating habits, and we want good ones. So what I want you to do is I want you to grab a C chord, and this is going to feel awkward at first, and you're going to think, oh, I'm not good at this, or just hang on with me. Nobody's good at it at the beginning. Maybe there's that kid that wakes up and all of a sudden can play Bach and Beethoven and Ray Charles and all that. I wasn't that kid. Most people aren't. So you will be able to play this. So we want to try to put our thumb on C. We're going to play a C chord. We're going to curve our finger a little bit. Don't do it flat like this. Curve it. Keep our wrist up. And play an E with our middle finger. And then with our pinky, we're going to play a G. So you're going to hit all those at one time. So hit that with me. And now we're going to do something. We're just going to do... just hit it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Do that again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's a C chord. Now, we are going to move on to an F chord. Now, let's go to the F scale. Remember, here's an F, full step, half step, full step, full step, half step. So the 1, 3, and 5 of the F scale. So here's how we can figure out how to make this chord. So we're thinking in the F scale. Now we're in the key of C, but there's an F chord in the key of C. So we're going to think, how do we build this F chord? So we're thinking F scale. So we're thinking, here's the 1, we know that. It's the name of the chord, an F. So the 3 is 2, 3, so it's an A. So we use your middle finger for this A, and then here's 4, half step, then full step is 5. So it's a F, an A, and a C. So do this with me and play that and go 1, 2, 3. Do it again. 1, 2, 3. So far we have a C. Go back down here to the C and play 1, 2, 3. Now go up here and find this F. You might have to put one finger on at a time. It's slow at the beginning, I know. It'll get faster. And then go 1, 2, 3. Maybe get used to just doing that. 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. Just hit those nice and easy. Okay, so one more chord, and then we're gonna get to some good stuff here. Now we're to the G chord. So we're going to the G scale. So we're gonna go, here's a G, so there's 1, full step, half step, full step, full step, full step. It starts over again. So the 1, 3, and 5 of that scale, the 1 is G, 2, and then 3. So B is the 3, and then 4 is a half step, 5. So the 1, 3, and 5. So it's G, B, and D. You can see those 3 notes and play thumb, middle finger, pinky, and go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now you know how to find any chord. If you understand the scale, you can find any major chord, any what we call triad major chord. So you're gonna wanna practice just going 1, 2, 3, changing to F, 1, 2, 3, come back to C, 1, 2, 3, then go back to G, 1, 2, 3, come back to C, 1, 2, 3. Practice this over and over and over. Okay, now, those are how to find some major chords. And listen, believe this or not, we're already close to starting our first song. You get through this lesson, and I know this is a lot, and you're gonna be making music. It's gonna be awesome. So here we go. Now I need you to know what a measure is. In music, there's different timings, and I'm going to tell you about 2 different ones today. There's something's called 3/4 timing and 4/4 timing. Now, all you need to know for right now is the first number. When it says 3/4 or 4/4, you need to know 3 for 3/4, and you need to know 4 for 4/4. So here's what we're gonna do. 3/4 timing goes like this. 1, 2, 3, kind of like what we were doing a second ago. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then 4/4 time goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go back and grab our chords, and we're gonna start our very first rhythm. And what is so cool about this is in the key of C, you can play full songs. And the next lesson, we're gonna get into that with just learning these 3 chords. You can play a lot of songs in one of these timings. So we're going to get into, with just our right hand this week, playing our first rhythm, and you will complete your very first lesson. You will be on your way to becoming a piano genius. All right, so let's take C, E, and G, and we're gonna go 3/4 timing. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. And so we're gonna do that over and over with the key of C. Now on the 1, we're gonna hit it just barely harder, normal, and then the other 2 lighter. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And if it's hard to hit light and soft, just work on hitting that over and over. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now a measure is every time you hear 1, 2, 3. That's one measure. The next measure would be 1, 2, 3. That's the next measure. So we're gonna play 2 measures of C real quick. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we're gonna come up here to F, A, and C, and we're gonna play a couple measures of that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we're gonna come back to C and play a couple measures. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. go to G, G, B, and D and play a couple measures. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then back to C. 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, so what you want to work on this week is know all of this stuff. Work on it. This week, if it takes you a month, if it takes you 2 days, if it takes you an hour, know this stuff. And we're just going to take the right hand and we're going to try to flawlessly go C couple measures, F couple measures, C couple measures, G. Always come back to C. Go C, F, and just practice always coming back to C for this first lesson. And you want to be able to do it without hearing the changes, without pausing. And at first, it's going to be long pauses trying to find the chords. But this is how it needs to sound. It needs to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Change to F. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Back to C. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. To G. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Back to C. 1, 2, 3, 1. So that is what I want you to work on. And I promise you, if you will work on this, you will be playing in no time. So, know the names of the notes. Number 2, know what a step and a half is. Number 3, know your major scales and know what an octave is. And is number 4. Number 5, know how to make a chord, know how to find a major chord, and know how to use it and know what a measure is. And you are well on your way as you complete this very first natural music lesson. Thanks so much for joining.